Bird, 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 bird. Get him. Yeah! Ron Babe was right. Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. Hey everybody, it's Ron Bain with the Hunting Dog Podcast. It is the 21st of March. That's right, it's a Monday. I normally do this on Sundays, and you're not even going to hear this till Tuesday. If you can't tell from the sound of my voice, I was blaming Pheasant Fest on my sore throat last week and a little bit of laryngitis. And then I had a regular doctor's appointment. I hadn't had a doctor in, I don't know. I think my doctor retired 5-6 years ago, and I've hit the Med First Center a couple times, when I've got an ache or a pain. And anyway, I went in there, and he looked me over. He says, you know what, we ought to do a blood panel work, and we got to do this. We're going to order your colonoscopy. And I'm like, yeah, I knew this was all coming. And we're going to do a lung cancer screen, which scared the shit out of me. But you know what? I'd rather know now than, like that old saying, like to know now what I didn't know then, or something, whatever that country song is. Anyway, so I left that office, and literally, other than the Zoom room night on Thursday night, which I was feeling pretty good, but then I kind of blamed Friday morning's voice and feelings on the Zoom room because, it was a 3-hour one, and we had a great conversation, and, everything was flowing. But, man, on Friday morning, I walked out of this kennel, and I don't remember the last time I got sick. I walked out of that kennel back into the house, and I got sick on the way to the house. And I pretty much, I guess right now what I have is some kind of a head cold, sinus infection, bronchitis. They got me on prednisone. I've been in a fog for 3 days. So I just came out of it a little bit. Just came out of it and thought, you know what, you'll all forgive me. You know what? You'll all forgive me. Anyway, this is going to be tough. We always thank my Patreon patrons first. I did put out another HDP Talk episode for the second tier patrons. I put that out. I wasn't feeling good enough to talk into a microphone, but I had that one in the queue, as they say. So you know what that's all about. If you're a Patreon patron, I love you. I love you more than my regular listeners, but I love my regular listeners too. And I love Pike Gear, my title sponsor. They make technical clothing for the upland hunter. They have yet another version of hunting pants called the Dakota, right up my alley, because I like, and they're still light as a feather, but they wear like they got some substance to them, and I really do like them. Check them out if you did. If you didn't get to Pheasant Fest and see the new Dakota pants, check it out. Check out all their stuff. Onyx, you know what? I need someone to write me. I'm going to tell you what, I think I got a stack of 5. I'll save 2. The first 3 people who write me an email and say, Ron, I procrastinated, and I really need Onyx. Okay? You guys write me a convincing letter why I should give you an Onyx Elite membership for a year. I mean, I could give you a dozen reasons why, but the rest of you all know the reasons why. But Andrew and Ben were nice enough to give me a short stack to give out to some listeners. And, Sunday was so empty at Pheasant Fest. I mean, literally, the afternoon was just empty. And so I'll take the first 3 emails with a good explanation. I might even put you on the air. I might even call you up and say, all right, tell the world why you need a free Onyx. And don't do it if you lost your job and the bill collectors are coming in, but you still like to hunt. Don't make it sad. Make it silly. Make it silly. You know me, I like silly. But Onyx has got those for us. Weatherby shotguns. You can use the Pro. I just got an email from one of our patrons, Reed, and Reed wanted to know what I thought of if I had a chance to shoot the Weatherby Orion black mat. Yeah, I said, Dix, it's a 26-inch barrel. It's the gun they sent me, and it's the one I shot when I was in Sheridan. I love the gun. It opened and closed for a brand new gun, opened and closed good. It's a touch long in the pull for me, but that's not a problem. I mean, I can adapt to that. I'm used to shooting guns that fit or don't fit me, but I've got very short little T-Rex arms, so I would bet it's right there where you need it to be. I told Reed you will not be sorry, and use the promo code HTP. Weatherby will have a discount. Right. No other gun company's ever done that. I wish I could get everybody else to do it, But this hunting season, you're going to need Bosch shotgun shells for it. Discount or no discount, you're going to need some Bosch shotgun shells. Don't wait till season to order them. Who knows what this crazy world's going through if we're even going to have any shotgun shells. So I would suggest putting your order in ASAP and let them know that you listen to the Hunting Dog Podcast. Had a great time. Lee and his son Luke were there at Pheasant Fest, and I don't think they had a free minute to. In fact, at one point, Roof went over and got him something from the concession stand because people were just lined up waiting to talk to him. And Walton's was there, everything but the meats. They gave me a bag of pre-made snack sticks because they had too many. Well, I'm telling you what, I got to tie this back into my doctor's visit, okay? Besides the Zoom room night, I'm going to be eating healthier because, for one thing, because I got all the Walton's equipment and my daughter's going to come on the podcast, so we're going to talk about hunting and cooking and she's going to help me. I got on the scale at the doctor's office, and the nurse that checked me and did my blood pressure. She said, okay, you want to get on the scale? And a little alarm went off when I got on the scale. And she goes, that's odd. And I said, what? She says, well, it's got a message. And instead of giving me my weight, it said, hey, one at a time. You know what? That was enough. That was enough. I've sat around on my butt for 2 years without putting a conveyor in, not doing enough hunting, not doing enough walking. And so I think I told you in the beginning, Thursday night I had, this beer. I have not had a beer. This is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah, this is day 4. Day 4. And I am not going to drink a beer until I get my weight, not all the way where I want it to be. Not all the way. But I mean, till I get to the point where I'm like, I don't get on there and go like, who's got their finger on the scale? And Walton's is going to help me do that with all the recipes, their Meatgistics. You should check it out. If you haven't, I don't know why you haven't. Get their magazine. Turn your kitchen into a kitchen. Yeah. Give your dog some Purina. It's the off season, but it's not really the off season. If you feed Pro Plan like I do, and people always say, change the food. Don't change the food. Just cut their rations back a little bit. At least up here, no more winter. Spring's here. The woodcock are back. We're doing a little woodcock chasing, but, just cut the dogs back. Don't change foods. Stick with the best food there is. 9 out of 10 champions do. I don't know why. I hope none of the 1%'s listening to this. I'd be embarrassed. I'd be embarrassed if you put your dog in something besides gun or kennel. I would. If you're new to this, now I get it. If you got 4 or 5 old Very crates and you're just like, look, I got to do something with it. I got to use them, and I'm not worried about my truck rolling over in an accident. Well, great. That's fine. But if you're new to this game, get yourself a gun or kennel. Talk to somebody who's been at it for a while. They're going to tell you how many kennels they have gone through in their life. Okay? If you're new to this game, get yourself a gun or kennel. Just go for it. You got a promo code if you're a Patreon patron, and get the one kennel that's going to last longer than your dog. I guarantee it'll last longer than your dog. It's going to last longer than you. You're going to have to put it in your will. And their food crates should be, I had a lot of people ask me about this, food crates should be back in stock ASAP. Garmin's got the new 80-hour mini TT collar. 80 hours. That would have gave me some peace of mind back in the day when I had a couple dogs that ran away and the collars, ran out of battery. That might have made the difference. Check out Garmin's. It's the best in canine training and navigation. Everybody knows that. Just like Canine Athlete. I started putting Zara on some Canine Probiotic. I haven't seen a difference yet because I just started her on this. She hasn't had any digestion problems. Her stools are good. Of course, stools are good. She's eating Pro Plan. But she's starting to, I don't know if she's a little bored, but she's starting to lick and scratch a lot. And I started putting this it's a little scoop, little half scoop on her food For one, I mean, she doesn't even, if your dog's fussy, they're not going to turn their nose up to it. And I noticed they're still licking a little bit, but I noticed they're not scratching. And you're thinking, well, Ron, she probably got fleas. No, it's not fleas. The dog's got flea collars and treatment on them. Sometimes they're inside. Sometimes their guts just need a little extra balance. So I'm gonna go through this whole jug of K9 Pro, and I will give you a report as we go on Zara's coat and skin and all the other stuff. And if you didn't know that, a lot of these products you hear of, you can go to W Hunting Supply, WDOUBLEU, like the letter U, Hunting Supply. Whatever you need for this coming training season, get a hold of Jason and just say, Jason, I heard that you guys had the best service in all of Dogland. And he will say, that's right. Let me prove it to you. Check out W Hunting Supply. Check out Deck Drawer Systems. I was very sad that they could not get me that little mini one. Of course, it would have probably taken away from everything else we had at the booth. Everybody would have been opening and closing the deck drawers. If you have been thinking about it, you know what? Do it now. Get it for your truck. Get your truck organized like you've never had it organized. In my case, it's a junk drawer, but it's an organized junk drawer. And they've got a brand new gun rack that goes into one. Well, you can put it in both drawers, but I'm just going to put it in the right drawer. And that way I can keep my guns in there handy and not even in a gun case. Yeah, when I'm hunting, I can put one or two guns just right in the locking. It's cool. It's like having a gun rack in a drawer. Shooting Sportsman Magazine, the last issue. Well, I mean, every issue is about people, dogs, guns, places, and birds, but it was a fantastic issue. That's the thing that gets you through this off season a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Upland Institute. Well, Upland Institute is going to be donating a fair amount. We haven't done the math on it, but we had a one-time 15% off sale for Pheasant Fest, and we did that to give people a break, obviously, because it cost them 15% less, and then we kicked back what you saved to Nebraska Open Parks and Grass and Water, whatever the program was. In fact, I got to get a hold of Fence Forever. Once I do the math, we sold a lot of units from there, got a lot of new customers, and our breeders program's out. If you don't know what that is, you should be getting an email about it if you're a breeder. If you're not, please write me. We have a great breeders program going on with the Upland Institute for those of you who breed. That's it. That's it. Upland Institute, Shooting Sportsman, Deck Drawer System, W, K9 Athlete, Garmin, Gunner, Kennels, Purina, Walton, Bosch Shut Shells, Weatherby Shotguns, Onyx, Pike Gear, Patreon patrons. For as bad as I feel, I'm surprised I got through that without coughing. I almost feel like giving myself a round of applause. So this episode, you're going to get another one this week too, probably by Sunday. This was like the second part of the episode I did at Gunner Kennels, and it was not. The intention was to have this fella, Colton, come in the room with us when I talked with Addison. And then he just got in from work. He's one of their engineers. And it's really great when an engineer that works at the company that you are sponsored by and appreciate, when the engineer is even an Uber dog man with too many dogs. And that's one of the keys. That's the kind of people they have at Gunner Kennels. So this was, I guess you'd almost call it Gunner Part 2 with Colton and Addison sitting in. I love you guys. I love you girls. Love you girls more. Ron Bain with the Hunting Dog Podcast, Part 2 at Gunner Kennels. I was out in the parking lot smoking a cigar, and one of Addison's employees came by me and said hi, introduced himself. His name's Colton. And I said, Colton, do you have, I didn't think it was paramount that you owned a dog to work at Gunner Kennels. Helps probably on the resume. And he goes, yeah, I have 4 of them. Absolutely. So I need a little Colton background story, maybe how you started here, what you do at Gunner, but I want to talk dogs.
Yeah, so I started here right at about a year ago. I'm just obsessed with hunting dogs and anything surrounding that. So that's originally what drew me to this company.
Yeah.
But I'm a product design engineer. I have 4 upland hunting dogs. I've had upland hunting dogs since I was about 4 years old, probably.
Really?
But I have 2.
So your dad fed him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's been in my family for a while, around Middle Tennessee. I think it started with my grandfather originally kind of upland hunting, quail hunting, in the countryside.
Yeah.
And I think, that was in Sparta, Tennessee. I think at that time a lot of people had an old bird dog.
Sure. And there was enough birds around.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's it around here these days? Isn't there a few spots or no?
There's a few spots.
Nothing to write a book about?
No, nothing to write home about for sure. But yeah, there's a few spots in big wilderness areas and things of that nature.
Addison, how did you recruit him? Did you have anything? Did you have he's got dogs, he might be okay?
They try to keep me out of the hiring process.
They keep you out of everything.
No, but we interviewed Colton, and he's a big dog guy, big fisherman, and I was like, well, culturally, I think he's a fit.
He's a fit. How does engineering come in, though? Did you have a full-time engineer before?
Yes. So Drew is our head of products and R&D.
Okay.
So he kind of ran with it, and Colton made it through the list. And yeah, I mean, I think within like the first couple weeks, we're like, hey, how do you feel about going to go do this trade show with us? Like, now it's like, hey, how do you feel about being on this podcast? It's not all engineering.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school for engineering?
Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee.
Cookeville, Tennessee. On the Cumberland Plateau.
I have a story, but I can't tell it on this podcast.
No.
Her name is Nancy Harwell. You know any Harwells?
I do not.
Okay. That's a
We're clear.
We're clear. Good. Because I took the train down to, I would have never thought of the name of that school.
Yep.
Until you said that name. I'm like, I watched the sun come up at that school.
There you go.
Anyway, so you went there. I think I went to trades. I never went to college like you
Fancy
schmancy guys, which you are not. But, I always thought, when you don't go to college, you're digging a ditch. You're always like, fucking guys with education. Did you, when you went to college and started doing engineering, were you going to take anything you could get? Or did you already think like there would be something like related to something you love?
Right. I think I always had a knack for engineering itself. Now, I did get a business management minor with that. But manufacturing engineering was the specific role I was in at Tennessee Tech.
Yeah.
So, I think at one point I started out in mechanical engineering and then dropped that to do manufacturing engineering, which is a cooler, more hands-on environment.
Right.
Mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I always wanted to do engineering. Typical story as a kid, always taking stuff apart, this and that. So I definitely always wanted to do something around engineering.
And you worked at Jackson.
Yeah, I worked
through
at
college.
Jackson Kayak through college, and then we branched off and started a new kayak company, Apex Watercraft, and then pretty much that brought me to where I'm at now.
Brought you down here.
Yeah.
Still in the same state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, all right. Let me hear your dog history.
All right, dog history. I've got 2 GSPs and 2 English setters.
Okay, that's a dichotomy, but go ahead.
And so my oldest setter is named Gunner. He is.
Damn it! See,
We were just talking about how I thought Gunner was an original name that nobody else named their dog Gunner.
He's 10 years old, and he originally came from Berg Brothers Setters.
Oh, I know them. Yeah.
And I did not raise him. So
Okay.
he is adopted to me, and he is one of the best wild bird dogs
Nice.
I've had running.
Those are
with
nice
me.
dogs.
Yeah.
I've seen some of their dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, he runs really big. He's just perfect all around. He's by no means a field trials dog, but
Right.
as far as wild
Foot
bird
hunter doesn't
territory-
need a field trial.
Yeah.
No, right.
And then the other setter is a young setter right now. He's about 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's halfway into it. He's halfway serious some of the time. So I think he's got a bit more growing up to do.
Yeah, and they need time, and they need birds.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do unless, now can Colton get a few extra hours off once in a while? Because do him a little favor there.
Yeah, he just got back from Kansas, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And out in,
Was that PTO time, or was it actual?
He might have been working from home a little bit, or was it all PTO? With this COVID stuff, you can just work from
You
home
can't tell if your people are
accidentally be
working.
in Kansas.
Working from the field.
Working
Yeah.
from the field, as long as you had the phone on you. Yeah.
So Colton's got a dog named Tex that he brings every day, but not today.
He decided he didn't want to come to work today.
He will look at you and Smile.
He smiles.
Oh, the lips
Literally
go up?
smiles.
Like,
and he's
like
not
Kylie,
aggressive.
Like Kylie's
That
Colton?
might be like I'm protecting Kylie.
Oh, that
Tex is
shake.
just like,
He just smiles a little
smiles.
You can laugh or smile at him, and he will smile.
bit? Oh, yeah, we should have brought him. That would have been good to get that a picture of. Well, I can get a video of it from you.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of your short hairs.
That's a setter.
Oh, that's the
So
other
on
setter.
Short hair side, I've got Hank. He is a 5-year-old.
Anything to
Pretty
do with
good
living in
size.
Nashville?
Yes,
The name
he is.
Hank?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And then there's a Cash.
You are, God, you guys are so unoriginal with names.
You know,
Hank and Cash.
Born and raised here, you got to have a Hank and a Cash. There was going to be a Waylon, but we stopped there. We didn't.
Well, you got time. You're young. I'm sure Wayland's
There
come.
will be more.
So what made you get short hairs? Because setters and short hairs, I mean, certainly out of the box, probably 2 breeds you can get that you know are probably going to at least point a bird.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to worry. Cooperation, obedience, different thing, but out of the box,
Out
2
of the
solid
box, they all
breeds.
did
What made you get a
one
short hair then?
Originally grew up with short hairs. So
Okay.
Dad had short hairs. My dad's dad had short hairs and, English pointers. But short hairs, I don't know, I was just originally drawn to those. They're relatively low maintenance to me,
Yeah, low intelligence.
I don't know. Depends on the dog, but
Well, did you ever see a seeing eye short hair? No.
that's
Okay.
a good point.
You ever see seeing eye lab? Of course.
Good point. But yeah, I've got a 5-year-old and then a 3-year-old short hair. I do have a field trials dog.
Oh, do you?
It's a small, fast dog, so you can't sit still in any manner. I don't
No.
know if he sleeps, not much. So.
I had a dog that just recently passed, and when she slept with me in a motel, I swear she could hear my eyelids open.
Yeah.
Because you could be laying there, and she'd be
Open 'em,
staring at
and they-
you.
yeah.
I'm like, have you slept yet? So I know they're like, yeah, take a break, take a chill.
I've got a
Are you-
4-year-old daughter like that. You open your eyes and they're just staring at you. It's like, how long have you been here? It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's a little creepy. Like, did I just read a Stephen King novel last night? So, are you doing a field trial game, or did you just get the dogs from field trial
Do
stock?
some field trials every once in a while. There's an American Bird Dog Classic I'll do, down in South Tennessee. I'll do those.
Are these walk-up trials or horseback?
Walk-up trials.
Walk-up, yeah.
Shoot retrieve. So I've done some Nastras, things of that nature. Few hunt tests with them, but mainly the Nastras and the American Bird Dog Classic.
Yeah.
Those. So, but mainly I enjoy just hoofing it out west and going on these trips.
Yeah,
and learning
because
all the
you
dogs.
got to get out of Tennessee to get dogs into some birds. Where do you
Right.
like going?
West Kansas. Usually.
Okay, yeah,
That's kind of that's
yeah.
kind of the first ever.
I heard it was pretty good this year.
It was.
Yeah, yeah.
Y'all got on some ducks in the afternoon, right?
Got on ducks, geese.
You should have been there,
I
Addison.
know. He was sending me pictures.
Yeah. you're out
Don't you
giant
hate that when
bottles.
you're working?
I think I was hunting too.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
You
I was
were-
working.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
I'm depressed. I'm having another sip of peach moonshine. I only got to drive 8 hours, so don't worry.
It just warmed me up a little
Yeah,
bit.
just taste that. It's very sweet. It goes with the Diet Coke, actually. So, wife and kids, or 4 dogs and all living in the house? Kennels, what do you got?
Girlfriend, longtime girlfriend, and 4 dogs.
That's not a bad spot to be in.
Pretty good.
It's not a bad spot.
Happy family.
Did you have them through college, too? Any of
yeah.
the dog? Did you?
Had them all through college. Yep.
See, it's another thing. You guys, and you pick your college, you didn't pick it based on bird hunting like Addison did.
I did not.
You did not paste the pick on that.
No, but I did live in an old log cabin and was fortunate to have a little bit of space for those dogs. So that was kind of one factor that
Nice.
led into that. So
Nice.
I came into college, I think 2 of the dogs, or one of them.
How do you do that? I mean, don't you have to spend the first year in a dorm or something, or no?
You did there at Tennessee Tech unless you had an address within 60 miles of
Oh,
campus.
so we kind of went around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not have to do a dorm. But yeah, I lived in an old log cabin that, when the wind blew the right way, the draft went all the way through the house. Many times if you burned a burn pile on one side of the house, and the
You
wind
smelled
blew
it
right,
inside
came
the house?
Through the house, yeah. So that was good.
This the house that when the tornadoes came through, you reversed the generator?
Yeah, the tornado.
Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Came through Cookeville, and it blew just massive trees all over the house. I didn't know the house was that strong. Come to find out, it did knock it down. But the power was out for about a week, and I had a big generator, and the only thing I could figure was that I made a double male-ended plug and rigged it to the generator.
Into the
and
house.
Set the power through a plug into the house, reverse.
You're supposed to do that into the load center, by the
Turned
way.
all the breakers off, and so it powered the system, and then I just turned whichever breaker on at the time that I wanted to use.
That's the engineering.
There you go, though, and it worked.
It worked.
And it was like running with scissors. You didn't poke an eye out, did you?
No, I mean,
You didn't burn the house down.
fine.
Right.
We were
People
fine.
worry. What? When you said Nastro, is the other one you mentioned was what was it called? The other
American Bird Dog class.
is that the timed one?
That is timed.
It
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
okay.
20-minute braces.
But is it shells counted on that one too, or is it just 20 minutes and try
20-minute
more
braces.
like Nastro then?
Yeah, more
Okay.
like Nastro. 20-minute
Yeah.
braces, and you've got another competitor in the field with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's 5 birds or more out per brace.
Right.
and
Right.
timed
Right.
based on-
You and another guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, have you and Addison swung on a few upland birds together?
I don't
not yet.
think so.
Yeah.
Haven't had the
Now you hunted gunner upland too.
A few, yeah. I mean,
it wasn't
pin
his-
raise.
yeah.
But he actually enjoyed it because I think he was able to just run around.
Just like a dog does.
Without going through mud and water. He seemed to really enjoy it, and with the pin raise birds, he'd flush them right away. I'd shoot him, he'd get them. It was
Right.
a good little deal.
It was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever hunted with a lab in the upland birds?
I
Oh.
have shared a field in North Kansas with pointing labs.
Okay. How did
That's
that
my
go?
only experience. I loved it. I mean, as
Yeah.
far as we were specifically pheasant hunting in Cut Milo that day,
Right.
and it was really handy to have those labs close running.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a very different experience than hunting with short hairs or setters.
Yeah.
And that kind of.
We are just trying to cover bigger ground and
Yeah.
bigger ground. Yeah. I've never, I shouldn't say, I've hunted with a couple people's labs, but it was turned out to be a walk with a gun. So I had no reference, but because I love to pick on everybody's dogs, because I have the best dogs. I have the worst breed. That's the problem. I have the best dogs of the breed.
worst breed.
Of the worst breed. But and this is going to be dicey and icy. You've had what we'd call traditional lab, right? A retriever specialist.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about a pointing lab?
No, I think we did a show up in Minnesota.
Damn it.
That I remember telling you I eventually one day would love to have. I like the appeal, I guess it's not a pointing dog, but I like the appeal of like a Drothar just because they'll bay a pig and blood trail a deer and also go duck hunting. But
Getting heavy duty stuff.
if I ever had some land and I could have a few dogs there, I would definitely. I mean, I love those breeds. I just don't know much about them and never had them.
Right.
But
What in the duck hunting world, like you hunt the south more, or is that not fair to say? Do you hunt?
no, mostly southeast.
Mostly southeast.
Yeah, I mean, the furthest I'll get is Canada or Kansas.
Right. But mostly south, yeah. So, when we started off earlier when we did our first podcast, you're always for the underdog, the chocolate.
Yeah.
Why was the chocolate the underdog
Well,
of the lab world?
I think
Because it is, or was.
Yeah, it probably still is. I think it's like you look at all the field trial champions
They're just-
of every type.
they're
They're
just
all
black
black and
labs.
mostly black and yellow,
Yeah.
and there's like maybe one chocolate.
Right.
And that's because I never actually put Gunner through that
Right.
stuff.
Otherwise, he'd have been.
Otherwise, yeah.
He'd have been. See, like Colton, I don't have to worry about it. They come ticked and this and that. Like we don't ever, worry. But with, labs, you got the 3 colors.
Right.
And for some reason, the chocolate. I think if somebody said right now, if they said, "Ron, I got a lab litter," I probably wouldn't pick the chocolate for no reason other than for some reason it was the redheaded stepchild
Right.
in the lab world.
Right. But it's the underdog.
But it's the underdog.
Yeah.
I like the underdog story. Or with short hairs and setters, they're all gorgeous. They're all beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have a bucket head.
Yeah.
Their head doesn't get stuck in a 5-gallon pail, getting a drink and walking around with a 5-gallon pail on their head.
Now, what would you say, because you've hunted with labs in the field, what has more drive? Like, do pointing dogs or labs, like, more stamina, more go, like, more?
Stamina for sure would be a pointing dog.
Okay.
They're just built for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a point of the heavier the bone, the heavier the dog. It's just like, guys that were born to be sumo wrestlers weren't born to be marathon runners. But I've seen. That's one thing about labs. Now, you don't see it like Colton and I don't see as much in setters. You could see variances in speed in setters.
Right.
But typically they should be in a range and look like a setter. I have seen labs that I just figured it was a mutt. Like they are so slender-legged and so tucked up in the waist.
Yeah.
That's like somebody do a mouth swab on that dog because it's not a lab. It's just not a lab. Like I'm never going to confuse a setter. Like it might be small or it might be a big Ryman, but I can tell a setter.
All the same build.
But I see Labradors that I'm like, okay, it's half pit bull or it's half terrier or something like that. It's a kind of a shame, and it does happen to breeds. Somebody has a good dog, and then they're like, I want to breed this dog, and they have their rose-colored glasses on about its faults. And in the pointing dog world, I think what we have to thank for is the way they did things in Europe. You know, there was only X amount of puppies in the morning. They had to go through a breed standard test. They had to be an actual breed warden you ran around a ring in a show ring. Now you didn't do it out at Westminster, but when these hunting clubs would get together, one of the judges would be a confirmation judge, and they look at your dog. If he doesn't pass confirmation, he stamps "do not breed" on the papers. In America, we're so used to our freedoms, we've kind of stepped on our own foot.
Yeah.
You know, like, have you ever bred any dogs, Colton?
I've not.
No. Stay out of it. It's not. It's fun for a while, but it ain't anything to make it.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's worse than. Here's what raising litter. Here's what having a litter, having a female, thinking about puppies, thinking about customers, is like a constant. Did I forget my anniversary feeling?
Yeah.
And it lasts for like 6 months.
Yeah.
So stay out of it, because there's always something you're like, oh, damn it. No. But I mean, we're lucky. But I'm getting all over the place with the labs. I see so many labs that literally they don't look like a lab, and I don't know where that comes from. But I mean, I see them, and to the point where they almost got a pointy nose. And I don't know.
I've never thought about that, but that's true.
I mean, like if you see that, you know, King Buck, right? That lab in Illinois, right? That's got that head shape. Like your dog had that head shape, that nose, the stop at the eyes and the muzzle. I mean, it's like, how could somebody want to get away from that?
Yeah.
They're like, that's a pointy nose. Yeah, but he's a good dog. Okay, let's breed him.
Right.
You know?
Then you got like, I've seen some show dogs like labs up north that are those real heavy. Like beautiful, but like real, just everything about them is just heavy, a lot of skin, real thick. That looks nothing like a lab.
A working lab.
Yeah.
A working lab.
Yeah.
And would you say yours always been English?
Grew up with 2 American chocolates.
Those are both American?
And then with Gunner, I just heard, you know, I didn't know anything about British First American. I just heard.
Nobody did till a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that they were a little bit more, I don't know, selective, just not as overbred. And I heard that they don't chew as bad as puppies. And I was like, I got 6 roommates. I don't want them chewing up all their stuff. So I just went with that, but didn't really know what I was getting into.
It sounded a little different.
Yeah, I wanted to be a little different. And I've had this conversation multiple times of American versus English. And I love them both. Like, I love a big American lab that's just, you know, slow and steady.
Yeah.
The British ones I've been around are, they're steady, but they seem to kind of, at least Gunner, like just a lot of drive, a lot of like almost unrestrained drive. But I like them both, and I think that both have their place.
Yeah, yeah. What about your short hairs? The ones you compete with, how does that transfer when you go out to Kansas? Does it work in your favor or work against you?
Usually I start with having to run them out a good bit when we go to Kansas.
You mean somewhere around Salina, Kansas? You let them run behind you on the interstate?
Through there.
And keep driving.
Yeah.
Keep driving.
Yeah. See it Cheyenne Bottoms.
Yeah.
Here comes the short hair letters.
Yeah. You know, I guess in particular with my small short hair, he really gets dialed in. He takes, 30 minutes to get really dialed in. So once he gets super birdy, or if we spend a long time in a wild field, he may lose some of that momentum.
Right.
And then it takes him a scent to get him super birdy again.
Right. It's almost like he's like, when he plays the game, a good dog in Nastra is going to find a bird within X amount of minutes.
Yeah, they'll find a show bird
right.
within 20
right.
seconds.
So now you take him hunting, he's got all this energy.
Yeah.
He hasn't found anything, and he almost, I was just wondering, I never had anybody that did both, that I've talked to.
Yeah. No, and, we did a field trial and then went straight to Kansas out there. So I could see instantly with him that after 30 minutes, if we didn't get on wild birds, he kind of wondered what we were doing at that point.
Yeah.
And we kind of keep looking back to me. He would keep a little closer. He's a pretty close running dog in the first place.
Right. But he's moves though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once he gets, on the first set of birds, it's game on. For
Then he's like, oh, okay.
Like a machine.
We're hunting.
Yeah.
How about retrieving wise? Are you you got the rule is, Addison, we'll see if I'm right on this. 30% of setters retrieve naturally. You've got 2 setters. Got a good chance that one of them retrieves naturally.
Oh yeah.
Which one is it?
I mean,
they both do?
They both do. Yeah.
Oh, you should play the lottery tonight on the way home.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with that. I guess just from Gunner, the oldest one, he was already,
he was
seasoned vet when
right,
I got him
right.
at that point.
So you didn't know if it was natural or
Yeah.
shrimp, but he seems to does a good job of it.
Oh yeah.
Because the short hairs are almost always, I mean, you can't maybe retrieve the hand out of them, but
Right.
their retrieving skills are better than the setters,
Yes.
typically.
Yeah.
What about your young setter?
Young setter, he's on and off. I guess he hasn't had as much experience as he could have by his age now.
Yeah.
But retrieving wise, he's good, and I just need to get back out there
Right.
in the field more time.
Yeah. Do you do any real training with them? I mean, like for true steadiness training? Because in Nastra, you only have to have them to the shot, right?
Right.
Or to the wing.
Yeah.
To the wing.
Just to the wing on
Do you
Nashville,
train them
so-
beyond that, just in case?
I haven't had mine trained beyond that.
Yeah.
No.
So as long as they let you do the flushing,
Yep.
they're fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot of buddies out west, and in Colorado that definitely are trained well beyond that.
Right. And it's handy.
Yeah.
It's just not real practical all the time.
Oh yeah.
It's especially on. I used to say that's bullshit, but on wild pheasants, I do want the dog there as quick as it can get there.
Right.
I don't need to tell him, okay, go retrieve it,
Yeah.
because I can already tell I crippled the damn thing.
Yeah.
I'd like to have him out there like in left field.
He needs to be.
Got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Well, Colton, I just wanted to get you on. I just wanted to kind of not. I don't know where I was going with this, other than the fact that I think if anybody's looking for jobs in the future at Gunner Kennel, it might help if you have some dog experience.
Yeah.
Because we know you just sit on Facebook and, what do you engineer? You already got it made. What do you do?
Like
Fixes all my mess ups.
the YouTube channel and whatnot.
Yeah. Right.
Facebook posters.
Keep everybody up on everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a bad job.
Check the mailbox.
See, I should have went to college. Thanks, Colton. I appreciate
Thanks for
it.
having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you guys do at Gunner.
Yeah.